Hey there guys, I am the Six Machine and welcome back to another Warhammer video. Just a quick one today, but on the Warhammer community page they've put up an article for a new Index Astartes custom marine chapter, the Tome Keepers. So GW have been doing this for a little while now, adding some new unique chapters to their White Dwarfs to add a bit more flavour and to let people try out some new colour schemes and relatively minimal rules for players to have a go with. And the Tome Keepers certainly fit this mould. They have a pretty awesome colour scheme with the creamy bone armour panelling and the black trim, and they seem to have their own little piece of backstory and lore. The article goes on to talk about their chapter planet of Istruma and how they weren't originally from there but came across it after the chapter was founded, so hopefully we'll find out a bit more about that inside the White Dwarf article. They also mention a feature which will focus specifically on the third company, the Godbreakers, and says that there will be some names, artwork and miniatures to showcase this company. And as you can see on the screen now, there are some very nicely converted models which they've put together, such as the Librarian and the Chaplain. Although I think it's fair to say that there won't be any new models for this chapter, just slightly converted ones, but it's still a nice thing for them to show off in the White Dwarf and show that people can sort of make their own unique characters for these Index Astartes armies. And they actually go a step further in the article and provide part of a profile for the captain of the third company, Captain Nasiem, and show off some of his war gear with a rather nice strength 8 -3 AP 2 damage pistol that shoots twice and his mastercrafted power axe. We don't see any of the rest of his sort of rules or anything like that, but it's suffice to say he will almost certainly get some special abilities unique to him. Overall, it doesn't really seem to give too much away, but it looks as though if you're on the lookout for a new scheme to paint or want to start up a new chapter and base it off some of the examples and ideas that GW are throwing out there, then the Index Astartes chapters are quite a nice way to get some inspiration, but also have some bespoke rules that let you add a little bit more character to an army and not just play them as green ultramarines or yellow dark angels or that sort of thing. They have that extra little level of individuality about them. I personally don't actually subscribe to White Dwarf. I don't tend to pick them up. Occasionally I will, but I certainly don't have a subscription. But I quite like this idea that Games Workshop are putting these extra little bits and snippets of rules and new sort of chapters and colour schemes and that sort of thing in their articles within White Dwarf. I think it's a good way to sort of expand the background of the game and show people that there aren't just, you know, the big main chapters that everybody knows already, like the Ultramarines, the Blood Angels, the Space Wolves, that sort of thing, that people can actually use these Index Astartes chapters as a template, or just, you know, straight up use them from the White Dwarf, and they have their rules to go alongside them. Although obviously they don't have the same level of support as the bigger chapters, it's just something nice to be able to offer to players so that they don't have to play the same army over and over and over again. You can have Space Marines, but have them with a bit more of a variety in their rule set. I will say one thing that I don't like, and I will probably do another longer video on this in the future, it does quite annoy me that the Index Astartes things, obviously being Index Astartes, are Space Marine focused. I feel like putting these extra little tidbits of rules and lore and background into a White Dwarf would be a great chance for Games Workshop to add some new little rules to other armies, specifically Xenos armies and Chaos, that sort of thing. Instead of doing a new Space Marine chapter, they could do a focus on, you know, an Orc clan and give the Orc clan its own name and colour scheme and just write, even if it's just sort of, you know, a character and a couple of unique rules. They don't even need to make a new model for it like they haven't done with the Index Astartes. They've just created a new character and based it off a currently existing model and just given it, you know, something. It's not much, but they've given it its own unique weapon, and it'll maybe have a couple of unique rules and maybe its own custom chapter tactic. But do something like that for the Orcs, for the Tyranids, for the Eldar, for Chaos, and I think it will just help to allay some of the frustration that a lot of players have in the current, especially, bombardment of Space Marine releases. I know it won't do everything to fix the issues, but if they could just use the space in the White Dwarfs to add every now and then a new Orc character or a new Orc clan, and just satiate people by giving them a couple of bespoke rules and that sort of thing, I think that would tide people over much better than just the drought that we have at the moment between lots of Xenos faction releases. I get that Space Marines are the bestseller and they want to try and push those as much as they can, but I feel like in the space of a White Dwarf article, because this article for the Tome Keepers is probably going to be, what, maybe 5 or 6 pages. It's not a huge amount of space, and if they did something cool and fun for other factions, it may actually persuade people that don't collect them to go out and pick them up and give it a try. But that's just my little rambling about what I think they should be doing with the space for the Index Astartes Space Marine chapters, instead of just pushing out more Space Marine chapters, especially because there's the fact that, I mean, obviously every faction can create their own Hive Fleet or clan or Space Marine chapter, but it's so much easier to do that for Space Marines because there's so many things online, so many tools online where you can, you know, create your own color scheme and write your own lore, and there's so much background to choose from, whereas it's sometimes a bit harder to do that for your own sort of Eldar craft world. But anyway, as I said, that's just some ramblings from me, and I will probably do, as I said, a longer video about that at some point in the future. But back to the topic, let me know what you think of the Tome Keepers. Do you like the scheme? Do you like the little section of profile we have for Captain Nassim? And I'd be quite curious to know what you think their chapter tactic may be that they'll be getting. Will it be a selection of 2 from the choose your own tactics that there are in the codex, or do you think they'll be getting their own brand new bespoke one just for them? Let me know in the comments below, and also be sure to like and subscribe for more Warhammer videos. Until next time, I'll catch you later, guys.